Hi and welcome to this tutorial brought to you by Velocity VFX, and in this tutorial I will be showing you how to create an awesome looking space fighter inspired from the TIE fighter. We're going to use some plugins mainly from videocopilot.net, such as Element 3D and Motion Design 2, as well as the Blacklight environment pack and Proshader the texture pack. That's mainly what you will be using. I will probably be putting those in the link below. And before we start the tutorial, please subscribe, thumbs up on this video, and if you have any question, leave it in the comment section. Having said that, let's dive into the tutorial. The first thing you will be needing is a new composition, 1920 by 1080, and then hit OK, followed by a new solid element 3. We're going to call it element 3D, and hit OK or enter. Then you want to go to your effect panel, video copilot element, and click on scene setup. Next you want to go to your motion design 2 pack, and then you want to go to components. You want to go down to component 7, which is this guy right here, and then you want to go to your orientation settings and go to the set orientation or set axis and type in 90 like so. You want to go to your Proshader, then and want to go to Proshader 2, and actually we are going to use surprisingly a concrete shader. It actually looks awesome, so that's the reason why. We're going to work mainly with concrete smooth and concrete the second one, which is a little bit darker. So first let's go in closer. You want to slap the concrete smooth, or the brighter one, on the outer layer and the darker one on the inner layer. Secondly, you want to come back to your components and find component. Actually, before we do that, let's actually lengthen this guy a little bit, and maybe instead of 100 in size, we want to go to 110 as well, like so. Then we can go to component 18, which is this guy right here, and we want to go to the y-axis and type in 90 degrees, so it will look, and then move it up on the y-axis so it looks like something like this. Lengthen the size on the y-axis by choosing the size tool, like so, and then go to the movement tool or move tool. You want to duplicate this component by holding Ctrl, clicking D, and moving down, like so. Now you will end up with something that looks like this. That's good. Come to your scene material, click on our empty space, remove all unused materials, and then just slap the bright concrete on both of the component 18 layers. Next, what you want to do is you want to hold shift and choose all of these three components we have added and move it into this folder. Next, we want to create, while having this folder selected, you want to create two new folders. Move the lowest folder into the middle folder and the middle folder into the top folder, like that. So lowest folder into this folder, middle folder into the top folder. Having done that, we want to go to while you come back into motion design, you want to go into the lowest pack or lowest thing, which is tubes and pipes, or tubes pipes. Then you want to find group bend 2. Actually, no, not group bend 2. Let me see. We want to find pipe junction 5 in tubes and pipes, or tubes pipes. Pipe junction 5, like so. And then you want to put that into the lowest folder, like so. And then you want to go to the middle folder, and you want to go to the group symmetry and select the set axis. What this will do is it will halve our work. Instead of putting one on the left side and one on the right side, you want to just mirror it and then drag it out on the set axis. Actually, before you do that, undo it, go to the pipe junction and then move it out on the set axis. As you can see, we have now two duplication, one on the left, one on the right. Next, you want to go to the scale and scale it down to, let's say, 50%, and actually move it in slightly. There we go. Next, you want to go to the orientation, and you want to actually don't go to rotation, take the rotation tool instead, hold shift and take this blue axis, 1, 2, 3. We want this heat sink thingy to face up. Then you want to take the bright concrete, slap it on it and on the side, so you only have this black ring and the metal itself. Next you want to go to components and you want to find component 15. So let's go to components and then find component 15, which is this guy right here, and you want to size it up slightly, take the rotation tool, actually move it out, before you do that, move it out just below the top group folder and create 2 new group folders like so. Put the component 15 into the lowest, take that folder, put it into the folder above, and take that folder as well and put it to the upmost folder like so. Then you wanna, while you have the middle folder selected, you wanna do the same. You wanna select the set orientation or the set symmetry axis, and then you wanna rotate on the X, hold shift, rotate on the green axis. Actually undo a CTRL set. Let's just actually come to the component before we do that, and then select the rotation and rotate on the green axis. So we want to have something like this, a V shape. So let's scale it up so we can see even more. And actually we wanna, don't hold shift, just rotate this time, like so. And then choose the move tool and move it out on the set axis, like so. And now let's scale it down to, let's say 125. Actually much more, let's say 180, maybe even 200. Let's say 200, round number, 200. There we go. And then move it in slightly and move it back. And then we want to come to the topmost folder and select the Y axis as well, and come back to components and move it up on the Y axis. You want these beams to slightly just come up. Slap the concrete in your scene setup, slap the concrete on it, like so. And now choose the size tool, take the set axis and just lengthen it, and maybe flatten it slightly. Come back to pipe junction 5 and move that up so they are visible, like so. Maybe move it forward a little bit and move it in. Come back to component 15, move that back, and maybe a little bit lower. Actually no, we want those beams to be sticking out a little bit. There we go. And just move pipe junction up slightly. And maybe move them in and a little bit forward. There we go. And come to components 15 and rotation, rotate it a little bit in. So we have slices gap here and there. There we go, perfect, like so. Next we want to go to mesh assortment 11. So mesh, let's find mesh. There is mesh, there it is, mesh, and then mesh assortment 15. Actually, my bad, mesh assortment 11, which is this guy right here. And you can keep that, keep it in the same folder, but hold shift and rotate on this screen until you have it facing straight forward, like so. So it was hold shift and rotate it on the green axis until it's facing straight forward. Now choose the movement tool and move it out to the sides, like so. And maybe make it from 100 size from 100 to 95, maybe even 90. There we go. A lot of this is just eye measurement, so nothing is right, nothing's wrong. It's all about what you think looks good. So size, go to size and then drag it out on the set axis, like so. And maybe on the X, slim it a little bit, and then slap the concrete on it, and maybe move it in slightly. I'm gonna lengthen it a little bit more on the set axis. There we go. And maybe move it in even more. There we go. Next, let's actually go out and create a new camera. I'm gonna go with 35 millimeter and 2 nodes. Hit OK, and then slightly rotate it. There we go. So this will be our front, I guess. And then I want to go to the element 3D layer and go to render settings. There it is. And then go to ambient occlusion, enable it, pump up this SSO intensity to 7.5, go on the multi-sampling 4, and increase the SSO contrast to about 0.4, around there. And then open up the adaptive blur 2 on the multi-sampling. And by the way, don't go crazy on these settings, they will slow down your PC. And as you can see, this shape has darkened a lot. What this multi-sampling does is it actually creates shadows. Maybe go a little bit lower on the settings, like so. It looks way too dark, but obviously that's because we haven't added any lights and we are not even finished with this building of the ship. So let's go and go in the render settings, go to lighting, and go to maybe let's say dramatic or even cinema. Actually, let's stick with dramatic. Let's come back to the SSO ambient occlusion settings. Lower the contrast to maybe 20, and then lower the darken pass to 3. And let's go to the glow setting quickly. Just enable it and lower the intensity to let's say 1.2 and the glow radius to around 3. Go to chromatic diffraction and pump that up, and then go to the glow. In the glow, go to glow saturation, pump that up. It will just make it look even more intensive glow. Alright, let's go back into keep building it. See what actually, you know what, let's lower the in the glow, let's lower the glow radius even more, and intensity to 0.8. Alright, now let's go back and keep building. Let's go in scene setup, and next we wanna create component. We wanna go to components and component 11. So components and component 11. There it is. We want to move it just below the top folder. Create 2 new folders, like so. Put the component on the lowest. Take that folder and put it into the folder above, and then take that middle folder as well and put it to the topmost folder, like so. Scale it up so we can see it. And while you're still in the middle folder, go to the Z and the Y symmetry axis, and then let's hold shift and rotate it on the red axis. 1, 2, there we go. Then we want to move actually before we move anything, let's go back to the component 11, scale it down to 40, and then we want to move it on the Y axis, or this green axis, sideways anyway, until we are just in the middle of the wing section, let's say. And then we want to move it up on the Z axis, so we have something like this. And let's see, so it will be obviously something like this. So move it in, There we go. Move it up and scale it down from 40 to 35, maybe even 25. Actually, let's go a little bit crazy here. 25, that's much better. Move it up, and next we want to move it back here, and then let's take the size tool and then slim it on the x-axis, not too much, just a little bit, slightly, and then just find a nice looking rotation for it. So let's say maybe rotate it in even more. There we go. And let's tweak it a little bit, maybe this, and actually find the size tool, and yeah, actually this is alright. Slap the concrete on it and see what it is looking like. Just lower it slightly into place, something like that, and let's have a look. Actually, before I do that, let's slap the bad concrete on this section as well, and let's check quickly. So let's go on to the next bit. I'm back into the C setup. We want to go to component 12, which is this shell looking like thing, like so, and we want to move it up to the just below the topmost folder, and then take the rotation tool and just rotate it like so. And by the way, I was holding shift, and then hold shift again and rotate it like so. When you're holding shift, it will actually go break or go into the correct axis like so. Move it. Actually, before we move it, let's go back. Let's add two new folders. Put the component 12 to the lowest, and the lowest folder into the middle folder, and the middle into the topmost. And then while you have the middle folder selected, go to the symmetry and select the set axis. Then come back to the components and move it like so. Now let's scale it down. And move it up. Maybe decrease the width by lowering the set axis size, and perfect. Now maybe lower the height as well and move it slightly up. Perfect. Now let's go on the size and lengthen it on the set axis like so. Perfect. Now we want to duplicate this component 12, duplicate it and move it down, and then we want to go to the rotation, hold shift and rotate it until it's facing the right direction like so, and then obviously move it up. There we go, and just like adjust it a little bit here and there until you like what you see. And let's put the concrete, actually move it up even more. Oh, I hold shift and select both the component 12, maybe move it slightly in. You just adjust until it looks like what you want to see, so like so. And then now I want to slap the concrete on it. There we go, upper and lower, and let's have a look. That's what we have so far. Next we want to go back in. We want to add, while we're still in the components, we want to add component 10, and let's just keep it in the same folder, uh, this folder, and then move them up apart from each other, I mean, and scale it down from 100 to, let's start with 30 and see if that is the size we want. Yeah, 30, and just move it in like so. Next we want to duplicate the component 10, so CTRL-D, and then move it back like so. So now we should have two here on this side and two on the other side. There we go, perfect. And then we wanna just slap the concrete on it like so, and then maybe the darker concrete on the like pipe looking things. Now we wanna CTR, no, I mean my bad, we wanna hold shift and like select both of them. So hold shift and select the two component 10s. CTRL, while you're holding CTRL, you wanna click on D, so you have two more duplication. Let's actually put those two up, so they're next to each other. So this one, there we go, and then select them, and then move them simply down below. Let's go in closer. So while you have them down there and you have them selected still, you wanna hold shift and choose the rotation tool and rotate it until it's one more time, more. There we go, until it's facing that way as well. Perfect. And slap the concrete on this one, and guess that one. Here we go. Perfect. Next we wanna add some kind of cockpit. So what we wanna do is we wanna go to tech component. I think it's let me see. It's tech. Let me find it. What was it? Let me try to refresh my memory here. Yeah, it's tech components, and it's tech reactor 1 in the inside tech components. So take that, choose that. So we identified, I guess, that, let's see, this was our front, I think. Yeah. So what we want to do, yeah, definitely, because the V wings are facing backwards this way, or the V is facing that way. So take reactor to the front, which is this side, and then we want to scale it down like so, and move it down slightly. There we go. Next, we want to now we have been on the material view this whole time. We want to go into the mesh view. So click on this little square thingy and open up. Now we want to remove. Now this is all the components or pieces this thing is made of. So now we want to move all this that. Actually, keep the second glass from top and just keep removing stuff, unchecking stuff. Actually, keep a frame and frame 2 and keep on checking. Keep a tube, the one just under 3, that glowing one, keep it. Uncheck the tube, this tube 1 is okay, but tube, uncheck it, and cylinder 01, uncheck it. Uncheck cylinder 012 and 013. Uncheck this swerve or whatever it's called, capsule, uncheck it. And you want to keep this tube as well. So let's actually go see, there's yep, keep all of the stuff. So now let's come down to the tube at the bottom. We wanna take the size tool and just lower the thickness. Next, we want to take this tube, and while we still have the size tool, we want to broaden it like so. So it looks like it could be the window, front window. Uh, Now let's come to frame and maybe size it down slightly. Even more, size it down even more, like so. And size down the frame 2 was the one we sized down. Now frame size that one as down slightly as well. Or maybe, let me see. Yeah, size it down slightly. Next, let's go into presets, and we want to go to Proshader. So in the Proshader you have different materials. We want to find glass material. So you have environment. Let me, no, actually, Proshader, plastic tiles. Go to physics, and there should be a nice glass there. Just put it on this glowing part, so it looks like a window. I've actually made I just did this glass, but I've adjusted so I made it look it even better. But you can use the the normal one, if you like. So next, what we want to do is we want to close the reactor one. We want to duplicate it, like so, and then go to the top duplication and shut off the glass, shut off the frame and frame 2, and just keep the tube. But click on the tube. You want to go to the movement tool, and you want to move it up. Um, Actually, that's not the right thing. Turn off the tube, that tube 1, go to the tube 01, the lowest one, this one, and move it up so you have a bottom section and upper section. Now maybe flatten it slightly, like so, and then close. So in the one duplication you want only, the one tech reactor duplication you want only the bottom tube 1, and on the other tube reactor you want glass, the second from the top glass, you want frame and frame 2, you want tube 1, which is the glass in the middle, tube 1, which is, I think tube 1 is like, tube 1 is the one from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 from the bottom, and then obviously you want the tube 1 all the way at the bottom, so you have a upper metal and lower metal. Now let's cut back to the scene material section. Let's right click on an empty spot and remove all unused. Let's take the concrete and slap it on the metal bit there and here. Oh no, not on the glass. CTRL set to undo, but on the metal parts. There we go. Next, we wanna create a concrete. Actually, let's go all the way to the top folder and just create a new concrete, or new, I mean, box model, and scale it down. Move it forward. We just want to close this open area. Move it up. Size it down even more. And we want to go to, when you have the box selected, you want to go to chamfer. You want to chamfer. It makes the box a little bit more rounded. And move it forward a little bit. Now we want to make it smaller on the y-axis, so it doesn't look so elongated, so long. And now duplicate and move 1 down. There we go, perfect. And at this point, actually slap the concrete on it. At this point, we can actually do a, let's open it. Instead of mesh view, we want to go to material view, and now click on the concrete. Go to basic settings, go to diffuse color, and we can just actually instead of having it being a gray shape, we can actually maybe give it a bit of color. Like so. Now click on the environment, maybe pump it up a little bit, and this is where the Proshader environment comes in, or Blacklight environment actually, from videocopilot.net once again. You want to go to Blacklight or environment, Blacklight 2K, and let's go with maybe this Blacklight 2K15, like so. And okay, so if we move it to the other side, you can see now we have something that looks like a front panel or cockpit. Now let's go to the in the render settings. Let's actually lower the ambient occlusion even more, even less of it. Let's say, so we have it, the intensity on 50. Ooh, that's way too much. 7.5. There we go. And maybe now we can increase the darken pass a little bit. I was thinking, why is it so dark? Why was it so dark? Next, you wanna create two new folders like so, just below the topmost folder, and you wanna go to tubes, pipes, and add group bend 2, and put it into the lowest folder of the top three most folders, the lowest one, and you wanna put that folder into the middle folder and put that folder into the topmost folder like so. And then you want to size up the group, and you want to come to group bend 2 and size that up so you can see it, and then move it behind the wings like so. Let's move it up a little bit, and then size it down to, let's say, about 40, and move it just behind the wing. Let's move into closer into it. You want to go to rotation tool and rotate it so it's facing towards the wing section, like so, and then size it even down to, let's say, 30, and just move it even more behind the wing section, like so, and maybe rotate it slightly. There we go. Maybe undo that. Maybe drag up the size slightly, like so, on the y-axis. Even more. There we go. Something like that. And then we want to go to the scene material and throw that orange material on it, and leave black bits like so, like that. Now we want to duplicate the group bend once more and move the duplication to the inside and rotate it on the red axis like so. So it's looking like something like that. And then we want to move it up like so. Come back to the group bend, the lower one, and maybe rotate it like that, and then come go to the other one, the inside one, and move it up and rotate it inwards on the red axis. Maybe flatten it on the X axis and go to the rotation and rotate it, and maybe move it up or in and rotate it once more on the red axis, and come back to the lower one and rotate that downwards. So we have something like that. Actually, maybe decrease the size from 26, I guess it was, to 20, and same on this one. Maybe from 23 to let's say 20. There we go, and move it closer in. And maybe lower it and rotate it this way. So it looks like some kind of support section for the for the wing or like cables or something like that. And actually, let's come to the middle folder, go to symmetry and uh, set the set symmetry. Choose the set one, and now we have cable kind of looking things on both sides. Hit OK, and let's actually see what we have now. So anyway, um, there you have it, a quick tutorial on how to create a fighter, and it looks actually awesome. I like it. I like how we ended up. Um, so there you go. Yep, I guess that's what what it will be for today. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you like this tutorial, please subscribe, thumbs up. If you have any question, leave it in the comment section. Yeah, we ended up with an awesome looking fighter. I'm actually glad how it ended up looking. So yeah, thank you for watching, and catch you next time. Bye.